Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of your 2021 Barflies Breakdown. I'm here again, once again, with Coach Pete, as always, 100% of the time, twice in a row. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little bit early over here on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, but I'm on the right side of the ground, so we're okay.
Excellent, excellent.
So we had a big game season opener last week. We're going to get into that a little bit today, and then when we're done talking about that, we're going to look forward to the match against the Raccoons. How do you say that, Pete? And Ennepetal.
Ennepetal.
It's pretty good guess on my part.
I get
Paderborn's a little bit easier to
wrong all the
say.
time too, so no worries.
Paderborn's a little easier to say. That's who we have this past week. Now, when we talked last week, we had talked about the lineup going into the game, what you anticipated, but that's not what happened, is it?
No, we had a little shakeup. We had a couple guys that couldn't make it, couldn't travel out with us, so we had to kind of shift people around. So we brought Kevin in from over onto shortstop, and he's done the middle infield before. So before he started learning the catching position, he was over there at second base. So he, it was a good fit to move him over there. We had practice time to get him comfortable doing the DP feeds and all that. So we did that. Yeah, it was quite a shake up for what we're used to, what we were practicing in the off season for. So, but they did pretty good.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that you were able to shift on the fly. I mean, that's that can be a challenge like that, but I guess that's why you have the roster spots, right?
Exactly. And we always try to practice. Everybody's making sure that they're ready to do a backup role, and we're always talking about what you need to do in those different positions. So that's one of the things with a smaller club, you have to be ready to fill in. So.
Well, let's talk about the games real quick. I'm going to look real quick. The numbers of the game, I got the Untouchables had 13 runs on 10 hits, and the Barflies coming up just shy after a big comeback with 11 runs, also on 10 hits. Fabian started the game. He pitched 4 innings, 7 hits, gave up 10 runs. 6 of them were earned. Seems like we had some issues with some of our fielding. But he did strike out 3, and the walks were a little bit of an issue with 6 walks. But then Tim came in and really settled things down. He pitched the last 4 innings, only gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. All of them were earned. It was 6 strikeouts, but it looks like the walks got to him a little bit too, with 7 of those. So that's the 30,000-foot view. Barflies come up 2 runs short on a big rally there at the end of the game. Let's get into that a little bit, but I want to go all the way back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah, devil's in the details.
Yeah, right. So in the top of the first inning, you guys came up, and it seemed that you really had something going. You had guys on second and third. You only had 1 out, and we're getting ready to really start cooking. And then a fly ball goes to center field. What happened there at second base? We got that runner in from third, but then we got doubled up at second, and then there was a strikeout to end the inning and pretty much killed the rally. So what happened there, Pete?
Yes, we had the fly ball. We had calling in tag up, and it was a close appeal play there at second with the tag. So it was an umpire decision that he was out. Heartbreaker, but we were confident coming out of there. We were facing a left-handed pitcher, something that we don't have on our team, so it's difficult to train for. But we were confident. We had that 1 run, and we were getting people on base, so we were confident going into the top of the second there to really build on that. But things didn't work out there on the offense.
It seemed like he was able to kind of set you up and put you down there, get through those first 5 innings of the game. After that quick early rally, it didn't seem like much was going on offensively for you. But before we move into the fun part of the game, let's start we're going to stay back here in the first inning just a little bit. We're going to talk about seeing that Fabian had a little bit of command issues out of the gate. That seemed to calm down a little bit as the next 2 innings went on. But you guys, 2 runs you gave up in the first inning. Things are still looking a little bit scary, but then you got that big double play to get out of it. And that it seems like even it's very rare that a turning point in a baseball game is the first inning, but that could have been it.
Could have been it. Could have been it. At that, it was a textbook double play, 6-4-3, something that we were practicing there on Thursday, specifically for those situations. Bringing Kevin in there, getting him comfortable with those feeds, and it just looked like we practiced for it, and it happens, and it could have been that turning point there, but it did get us out of the inning, so kept the damage to just 2 runs. And with the pitching, it was one of those getting rusty with what are the sequences we're going to do with live batters, and we're trying out a couple different things, and it did settle down there a little bit. In the 3rd inning, we got the sequencing right, and I'd chalk that up mostly to the rust in facing live batters. So,
well, I think that's fair, especially after we talked about the training issues on our last episode, where only training 2 at a time and 6 feet apart, and then now you're finally getting together. So, but it was good to see him that you brought up the 3rd inning. The 3rd inning was one of those things that really speaks to the progress. I think that's what I see. Is the bases were loaded.
Yep.
And you get that strikeout to get out of it, and that is a high leverage situation, and sometimes the pitcher just has to do it on his own. And to see that, especially after some of the struggles, I mean, that's a really great thing to see.
Yeah,
so tell me about that at bat.
Bases loaded. There were 2 walks. There was an error that helped get the bases occupied there too, and it got to a full count. So bases loaded, full count. You got runners going at the pitch. And it's one of those things where on the defense, it's like, if something goes wrong, you got maybe even 3 runners getting through. So because going at the pitch, you got full blown, full sprints going on there, and it's just harder to play defense when you get something, when the batter is able to make contact. But to get that strikeout, get out of the inning, get us back to trying on the offense. It was it's one of those moments. It could have been the turning point there too. But we'll get into the 4th here. But yeah.
Yep. And actually, so that's all there is let's get into the 4th. Things had seemed to be settling down. You had that big strikeout. You guys come out on offense, and he, credit to the Untouchables pitcher. I mean, he just put up another 0. What are you going to do? The guy was pitching lights out. You guys then come out on the field and to try and keep the game close.
Yeah, there was another double play,
and then the wheels fell off the bus.
Yeah, so after that strikeout, getting onto offense, there was another 3 up, 3 down double play to double play to end that inning on our offense as well. And it's just one of those in the heat. It was kind of a hot game as well. So with 3 out innings there on offense, putting our defense back out on the field in the heat, it just kind of wears its toll down on you, and then comes the control in the 4th inning with Fabian, and we at that point we were getting Tim into the bullpen to get him warmed up and ready to come in, and we just several errors, couple balls, just kind of unlucky bounces and things like that, where what are you going to do? Just have to fight through it. And It's one of those things that we've struggled in the past as a team. You know, the middle of the game. You know, let's keep our head in the game. Let's get our you know, let's play fundamental, not throw behind the runners and things like that. And so we got to work on that. And that's something that we're going to look to improve on.
But you know, that was your fourth high leverage inning in a row. Everything, you know, there's an avalanche effect that happens there mentally, I think, and then the heat. But yeah. So those innings happen though. Sometimes, you know, they call them a crooked number. And you know, sometimes a crooked number goes up. That's baseball. But in the fifth inning, Tim comes in. Fifth inning, Tim comes in and really settles things down. And then in the sixth inning, I believe, is when things really got cracking for the offense. So quick rundown of the sixth, and then you can talk about it.
Sure.
So it looked like, so Tim had a double, and then Froning reached on an error by the second baseman. Tim gets in to score on that one. Let's see, then Froning steals second and third, and with Brookman hitting into an E6, Froning crosses the plate, Sinev walks, and then we had, does it say Junga or Junga?
Junga, yeah.
Junga comes up and rakes a big single to put another 2 runs on the board. And now you've come back with your own crooked number. So tell me about the excitement of playing in that inning and how much that helped elevate the spirits of the team.
Yeah, and you know, it was great to get into that sixth. So we made it through the fifth, and we had again just walked the bases loaded, and we caught the runner on third, not looking anymore, and so we were able to pick him off. Great play there by Patrick. Like I said last week, he's got a great eye for the field. Got the ball into Toby and got out of the fifth. So we were able to get into the sixth, and that's when they switched their pitcher out, and you know, so we were able to get our base running back in. You know, so with the lefty is kind of a little bit more difficult to steal. You know, so we're kind of hesitant on some of our base running, and so with the righty in there, we were able to start, you know, getting people out of that double play scenario, get people into scoring position quicker, and you know, that helped out a few of the errors on their defense to get some guys in, and you know, it just kind of builds up, and you know, everybody starts feeding on everybody else. You know how that goes, you know, that turning point there where you say, okay, we do have a chance. We're only down by 4 now coming out of the inning. You know, we've had a couple, you know, Michel Junga with his 2 RBI single, and then even going into second on the throw, you know. So yeah, it was very exciting, especially, you know, Junga being hitting in the 7th spot, you know, getting that action in the bottom of the lineup as well. Really excellent there. So very exciting.
That was fun. It was pretty calm there for a couple innings. You know, it seemed like the Untouchables had put a run here and a run there up on the board, but overall it was pretty settled down. We'll come to the top of the 9th inning, and I think you guys scared them a little bit. In that top of the 9th, you had a single, and then a single, and then a 2-base error, and then a chance for redemption, right? So Fabian comes up to the plate, and he absolutely smokes a ball to right center field, and he is chugging, and it is guaranteed that he's going to score. And then I see the third base coach going, no. Yeah. So, I mean, come on, Pete. Who was that third base coach, and what happened?
Yeah, so that third base, that's all on me. I was the third base coach there. You know, it's one of those things where you see the ball, it gets there, they're going to have to line up for a double relay. And, you know, again, I'll chalk that up to being rusty, but Fabian is just smoking it on the base path, and he's doing rounding second really well, not putting on the brakes, and that's one of the things that we've been working on in the past few weeks here is the base running and getting those angles around the bases, and I just didn't realize how well we've been training here. It's one of those scenarios there's no outs, right? We're down by 3. Toby scored. So at that point, we're down by 3, no outs. We have the heart of our lineup coming up. We got Kevin, we have Ilya, they're going to be able to drive somebody in from third base without a doubt, so I was a bit hesitant there with the double relay. If they get a good relay, get on the ball and get it in, would be a close play at home, and you don't want to chalk that up to chance. But man, Fabian is fast, and so it's like I saw that first relay where the first relay was. It was a little bit wasn't handled 100%, and it's like, okay, get him home. The whole bench is calling out home, everybody's up on their feet, and so no outs, down by 2 at that point. Fabian just lit up our excitement level.
Yeah, no, that was a really exciting moment. That ball was probably the hardest hit ball of the whole game. Just in a big moment, that was a big moment for your team. Unfortunately, that's where the scoring ended. You guys, you really, it seems like you guys put together a really good run and a really exciting 9th inning, but it seems I am a terrible golfer. Okay, and you'll see where I'm going with this in just a minute.
All right.
But I'm a terrible golfer. I love to play golf though. And every time that I get done with a round, I look at my scorecard and I see if I hadn't hit the ball into water here, or if I had just 2 putted instead of 3 putted here, my score would have been this much better. So I can only imagine, as you look at a game like that, where it ended up being so close, that you look at this and say, if only this or if only that. And so looking on that, give me your 2-3 big takeaways of things that you're going to be training on to get ready for the Raccoons in the coming game, to kind of maybe take that extra stroke off your game, if you will.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those fallacies. Looking back and what if fallacy. If only we had a missed double play opportunity in the 4th, where 2 runs came in after that, we could have closed it out. So rather than take the double play, we took the easy out at first base. That could have saved us 2 runs. It's just different things like that. Had we gotten a pitching change in a little bit earlier, maybe could have saved a run there. All those things where you have to look back and really see, okay, how can we improve on those things, like you said. And so those are the things we're taking into practice, really looking at those backup positions. There were several plays in the outfield, for instance, where center field missed the opportunity to keep the ball in front of him, but at that point we didn't have the right fielder or left fielder backing him up. So different things like that that we're going to be focusing on. Backup positions, a little bit more on base running. There were a couple where we were caught stealing a few times there, so making sure that we know when to get going, when to slide, things like that. Yeah, we got to tighten up those errors. I mean, we can't expect to win a game with 7 errors. 11 runs is pretty good, so we got to tighten up those errors.
Yeah. So this is a rematch of your preseason game, but you're going to their home turf, and as I understand it, it is actually turf over there.
It is turf. It is AstroTurf, artificial. Yeah.
So that makes the game faster. What other special considerations are there for playing at their field that maybe you guys aren't used to playing on the grass field?
Yeah, so the Ennepetal, it's the typical German field where it's a repurposed soccer field. So the width of the soccer field is your right field dimension, right? And so everything right of center is going to be a ground rule double over the fence. So that eliminates that whole half. That gives you the opportunity to kind of play your right fielder a little bit differently. With it being so fast and the ball getting, moving really fast, you can play your infield a little bit deeper. Expect those balls to bounce consistently, so you don't have the weird bounces. So that's going to help. Some of those balls last weekend kind of got away from us on a weird bounce on a very dry, hard field. So looking at that, they also have a mobile mound that they have to set up every time. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for our pitchers when you have your landing foot not giving a little bit of slide when you're coming in. So that's going to be a little bit different. Luckily, Fabian and Tim both have pitched on that during our preseason games, so they're used to that. Hopefully, they're used, and they'll be able to make that adjustment. In the preseason game, especially with Fabian, after that first inning, we made a couple adjustments, and that really helped with him there. So.
All right, great. And what do you know? I know it's early still. And the last time we tried to have this conversation, it didn't matter at all. But what's our lineup look like for Sunday?
So don't quite know yet. I've been kind of going through with Patrick, our assistant coach, kind of working on a lineup. We know Mirko's not going to be able to be there, so we have to do something with center field. We have a couple guys that are returning, so Stefan's going to be back in the lineup. Dimi, who is a returning veteran, he was not sure how long, he's like 5 or 6 years he played with us, had a few years off, wasn't able to play last year because of the pandemic, but he is back, and so he'll be able to come in. And yeah, we'll see. Probably given the performance last week with Tim, we'll probably let Tim have the start this week, bringing in Fabian. Fabian will start at shortstop, and so he's got that quick throw, quick reaction, and you saw how fast he is. So that should help. Yeah, so that should help tighten up shortstop. And yeah, from a batting lineup, not sure yet. I'll be looking at that probably on Friday. So maybe by the time this gets published, I'll have that. But you'll see. I'll try to blend that in if I have it. But yeah.
All right. Well, great. I'm looking forward to see what happens this weekend. I think that it looked to me like there were some really great things happening. I hope you guys are having fun. That's the point of the whole thing, is to make sure that you're having a good time out there. Because if you're not having fun, what are you even doing it for?
Oh yeah, everybody had fun. We all had a great time. It was great weather last week. Looking forward to having great weather this week.
Well, give them a run for their money.
Yeah, we'll do.
Well, it was great talking to you, Pete. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the insight. And we'll do this again next week to see what happened in the game this weekend.
Sounds great. Thanks, Kevin.
All right, we'll talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.